On camera, Iran rejects Pakistan's claimed mediation efforts in a blunt takedown that leaves little room for doubt. Pakistan's forums are its own, Iran says, as Tehran denies pulling Islamabad into any talks framework. Pakistan is left red-faced after its peace talks offer is publicly rejected by Tehran. As Donald Trump fails to arm-twist Mujtaba Khamenei, is Tehran now drawing a hard new red line? A visibly pressured Trump now drops a fresh ultimatum: ink a deal soon, or face what comes next. Iran once again rejected US President Trump's claim that direct peace talks are currently underway. On March 30th, Iran's foreign ministry directly denied that any ceasefire talks were in progress. Iran also said the United States had pushed for negotiations through messages sent by intermediaries. The Iranian Foreign Ministry described the US demands as unrealistic, illogical, and excessive. In addition, Iran rejected Pakistan's claim that it was mediating between Washington and Tehran. Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghai said Pakistan's mediation efforts were part of its own framework. Baghai said Iran was not a participant in that framework created around Pakistan's mediation effort.
We have had no direct negotiations with America so far. Since the last round of negotiations until now, the U.S. demands have been very excessive, unrealistic, and illogical. The meetings that Pakistan has with neighboring countries are, well, a framework they themselves have established. We have not participated in this framework. Was the Strait of Hormuz ever closed before February 28th? Iran has, throughout all these years and over these decades, been the free guardian of maritime transit in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. What the world is facing now is a result of the military aggression of America and the Zionist regime. The actions that America and the Zionist regime carried out against Iran's nuclear facilities are absolutely illegal. They are a crime, both according to United Nations Security Council resolutions and according to IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, Resolution 533. This action is absolutely illegal. It is criminal. More regrettable than this criminal action is the double standard of the agency and the Director General of the agency. Can it be allowed that Iran and Iranians be in a position of confronting the illegal aggression of America and the Zionist regime, to use the available capabilities on the soil of regional countries while our armed forces remain silent? The duty of every authority demands that it respond to such cases with all its power.
Iran's dismissal of Pakistan's diplomatic effort came a day after talks were held in Islamabad. The foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey held talks in Islamabad on March 29th. Those discussions in Pakistan were reportedly focused on de-escalating the war in the Gulf region. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar also offered Islamabad as a possible venue for Tehran-Washington talks.
We also discussed the possible ways to bring an early and permanent end to the war in the region. The foreign ministers expressed concerns that the ongoing conflict is extremely unfortunate for its devastating impact on lives and livelihood across the wider region. We agreed that this war is not in favor of anyone and would only lead to death and destruction. The unity of Muslim Ummah in these challenging times is of utmost importance. I briefed the visiting brother foreign ministers on the prospects of potential US-Iran talks in Islamabad. The visiting foreign ministers expressed their fullest support to this initiative. Pakistan will be honored to host and facilitate meaningful talks between the two sides in coming days for a comprehensive and lasting settlement of the ongoing conflict. I had a detailed telephonic conversation with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. China fully supports Pakistan's initiative to host Iran-US talks.
Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reportedly said he had spoken with the Iranian leadership. However, there has been no public confirmation from Iranian President Pezeshkian or Foreign Minister Araghchi. So far, Iran has not acknowledged that Pakistan has any active line of communication with Tehran on this issue. Pakistan reportedly delivered Donald Trump's 15-point ceasefire proposal to Tehran through intermediaries. Tehran had rejected that plan, calling it excessive while saying it would continue the war on its own terms. After Iran's latest rejection, it remains unclear whether Pakistan's role as a mediator will continue. Iran's foreign ministry statement came a day after Trump claimed a deal with Iran was close. On March 30th, the US president used Truth Social to pressure Iran toward negotiations. Donald Trump repeated his claim that the United States is holding serious discussions with Iran. Trump also threatened Iran with attacks on its energy infrastructure if no deal is reached soon. He said Iran's electric plants, oil wells, and Karg Island would be obliterated if an agreement is not made. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "The United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells and Karg Island, and possibly all desalinization plants, which we have purposefully not yet touched. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers, and others, that Iran has butchered and killed over the old regime's 47-year reign of terror." End quote. Meanwhile, Iran warned that there is no safe space in the Gulf for US and Israeli officials. Iran also threatened to target the homes and offices of American and Israeli officials in the Gulf region.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.